Hello, everyone, and welcome to another talk here. So, we're going to do a bit of a review, take a look at some of the tunes that we talked about this past month, and kind of also some of the concepts and things. And this is tied in with our kind of regular program of just exploring the guitar and working to improve our skills and things. All right. So one of the first tunes that we worked at this past month, and I'm trying to feature about 3 to 4 tunes. We worked at this Duke Ellington piece called Prelude to a Kiss. And one thing that we're trying to do here too is we'll work at different kind of types of tunes, or tunes that might fall into different categories. So here we have a ballad, we have harmony that's functional, so we're going to expect certain things on that and might want to play in a certain fashion on that. So let's take a little bit of a look at that tune. So we did some analysis on it, broke it down. And I'm recording this as a podcast too, and making my best effort to make it all as friendly as I can to as an audio kind of only sort of medium. All right, so here we can really dive into some chord shapes and patterns and get into kind of theoretical things, maybe not theoretical things, or just like sort of the nature of harmony and all that, and the nature of how things would tend to resolve. So we discussed how this is interesting, right, this passage and how it starts, because we're ultimately in the key of C, right? But notice that we have a chord that's a bit outside of the key of C there. Now G7, that's definitely in C, but we have C7 with a B flat there. So it's a dominant 7, right? And then F major 7. So it feels like it resolves there. So it's going kind of to the key of the 4 chord, right? And then we have this motion down, again, very similar. This time it goes to minor, right? So it's interesting also too that if I play a D minor 9, it includes the tones of the F major 7, so that's kind of interesting, right? So, but that's going to be the 2 chord, so it's kind of going towards the key of the 2 chord. And finally, on measure 5, we really start to head back. Just really start to hear really kind of more of the key of 1 sharp. And then finally, we get down to our tonic C. Right, so it kind of moves all around and gets us back, or it doesn't even take us back to the tonic, never gives us the tonic until we get to measure 8. All right. Our form, AABA, see at the end of the second A, get F sharp minor 7, flat 5 to B7. So this is kind of suggesting that maybe it's going to the key of the 3 minor, but it doesn't. It goes to major, right? So oftentimes we have the F sharp minor 7 flat 5 and B7, right? Maybe with a flat 9, to go to minor, but it goes to major. Sometimes it does. Think about composers like Cole Porter and others who kind of would do that. So it has a certain aural effect. And so we're in E major. Okay, so that's a mediant relationship to the C, and it's a chromatic mediant, meaning that, like I just discussed earlier, if it fell into the key, if it was diatonic, then it would be minor, but it's major. Okay, and we get 1, 6, 2, 5 in that key. 3, flat 3 diminished, F sharp minor 7, 2, 5 here, back to E flat major. Then we get the minor 7 flat 5 again to the B7. Right, now here we could either go E minor or E7. So let's go with E7. So 3, 6, 2. Now if we were at an N, let's say, or if we are in C, but if we were kind of heading back to the tonic, as the A section, might do, then we would maybe take E7, A7, D minor, G7, and then land on the C. But the A section doesn't start on the C, as we discussed earlier. It starts on the D, right? So Duke Ellington comes up with a solution for that. So it kind of walks up D minor, E flat minor, E minor, and then we get E flat 7, which is going to pull us back into that D7. Okay. So the harmony there is really pretty interesting and really a good study, I would say. And we have these chromatic melodic or melody notes that are pretty chromatic. Okay, try not to trigger any copyright strikes or anything, but that's a little bit of an idea of how the melody works there. And we have some interesting moments where we get that A flat. I think we talked quite a bit about the A flat as well, and related it to some common scales that we might find in this key, right? The C harmonic major, the A harmonic minor, right? And even the A melodic minor. Okay. All right, so that's one thing that we're going to be doing in general is including some tunes that have, functional, like I said, functional harmony, the harmony that does certain things that follow some of the nature of just how harmony tends to work, right? A 5, it goes to 1, a 2 goes to 5, or wants to, or has that feel of gravity and motion. All right, so let's talk about, say, kind of a contrasting tune that we talked a little bit about. We didn't spend a lot of time on it, but we had. Doesn't look like I even included a lead sheet here. So let's talk about this one, and maybe what I'll do is I'll give us a couple different angles for those who are watching the video version of this. I gotta make sure this is turned off here. Thought I had it turned off. Okay. All right. So yeah. So of course I will keep this really audio only kind of friendly as well, but we'll get a little bit close up on the guitar here for those members of the YouTube channel. All right, so we have D minor. We have So What, right? And we stay on this sound for a really kind of a long time, and we have let's see, kind of a palette of tones that we're kind of maybe working from. Not that we have to play those exclusively, but so we have a palette of tones, or a pool of tones that we're suggesting to work at. So we have a Dorian kind of sound on that. Okay, and then we go, let's say, up a half step. And sometimes this is actually, a device that is used sort of long term, where it might move up a half step or even a whole step as something that sort of lifts the sound. And it does have this effect, but we end up going back down a half step in the form of the tune as well. Now this, presents a challenge. If we have a tune like Prelude to a Kiss, the harmony is really going to the direction of the harmony really can shape the melody and or the melody that we improvise, right? So then you have something that's giving a certain motion, and it can help to direct the line. So in this tune, So What, we have a static chord. So what are some ways that we can create interest, in our solo? So note-wise, we talked about, got started with the George Garzone concepts on playing, chromatically, and maybe taking some tones that are outside of that mode of D minor, and it's just stretching things out. Also some concepts from another saxophone player, Jerry Bergonzi. So we took some concepts at that, to see if you can stretch things out. And we may have even talked about Dave Liebman too. So taking some of these ideas that saxophone players use can be really very, very helpful to us. All right. So another tune that we checked out was Falling Grace. And so on this tune, you might explore some various concepts. I don't know if we talked about this actually, but trying to remember how this is phrased, but the Lydian chromatic. Let me look that up. I think it's David Baker. Let's see, Lydian chromatic concept. And so there's a book on that, and actually I think I've looked at it a little bit, but I haven't really gone into too deep with it. But this is a tune that I think that material might be particularly helpful on. So if you're thinking, in terms of, let's say, C, and you're thinking in terms of Ionian, there's this very clear functional sort of, harmony where you have this clear tonic, this clear place where things want to go. Now with Falling Grace, let's cue that up a little bit here. You can see that it does do some of that, but one of the very first chords, we have A flat, and we never hear it necessarily. So it kind of starts and ends on. Well, actually, it ultimately ends on D flat, but we have this A flat, but we don't really necessarily hear. I'll have to check the changes, but in E flat 7, going to that, right, we have an E flat major 7 that comes before that, right? So it kind of sits on this space where it seems kind of happy to stay there, but it doesn't really seem like there's a really strong pull to there. At least that's my kind of perception of it. And the tune itself, it seems to kind of never end in a sense. It wants to keep kind of going. Again, also kind of just a perception that I'm having on it. But at the same time, we do have these moments where we have, like a D7 moving to a G minor, right? That suggests some, functional harmony there, right? We get a 2-5 to E flat, although he puts it over the G, right? So we have these kind of slash chords and this different kind of movements to the bass. At the same time, we have some traditional kind of 2-5s. So it seems to visit some tonality. Right? But it's almost like painting a moment, or like having a scene of a movie where the mood just kind of shifts, and we have a sudden different sort of palette, almost so similar to what we talked about with the So What. So we may have like a palette of tones that we were working on there for a minute. So we have this kind of sudden shift from G major into like two flats, key of two flats, like the 2 chord. And we have these chromatic, this chromatic motion for the bass. Okay, a 2, 5 to D minor, which kind of instantly becomes its own 3, flat 3, 2, 5, into your B flat major. So here again we have this moment in time where maybe we go to 2 flats, maybe we go to 1 flat for a moment, back to two flats, and then we're suddenly back into this kind of A flat Lydian sound. So it's a really fun tune to study, really fun tune to really kind of play on and improvise. So that was one of our featured tunes this month. So you'll have to let me know too. I think we'll go over one more tune here, but whether you're following on the podcast or you're checking this out on the YouTube member area, let me know what you'd like to hear about next. I'm going to choose some things here in the coming days. So we are on the 31st of the month. So moving back to picking some tunes. I think 3 or 4 tunes. Sometimes it's a little tough to cover a tune thoroughly in 1 week, I think, but we'll see how things progress. So another tune that we've been working on is on Green Dolphin Street. And so we did some analysis on that and learned a little bit about the concept of slash chords and pedal tones. So we have this E flat, and this tune could also be played in C. Well, it could be played in any key, but commonly played in C or E flat. So you can see our intro here. This kind of suggests what's happening. So we have E flat, E flat over G flat, E flat over F. Let's see, cue that up. Right, so pretty dissonant, right? And then E flat over E major, and then back. It kind of keeps going. And half step. So first goes up a minor third, which we talked about, I think, even with this tune, other parts of this tune, where this sound of going up, as we would say on guitar, 3 frets to the right, sort of a refreshing sort of sound. Okay, and then we go down. Okay, and again 2 5 to the 1, and then going up 3 frets, doing the same progression in G flat major, and then getting us back down to the E flat. And then we have, which we didn't really talk too much about, but we have some differences in style. So doing a Latin and a swing and alternating those as well. All right, so we have the A again, and then we go into kind of a C part of the form to now this particular lead sheet has a little bit of an extended form, which sounds nice. But as I talked about, I think yesterday, I plan to do the shorter version of it. So similar to what you would hear or probably play on most any casual sort of gig that you might play. All right, everybody. So that's going to do it for today's talk. I do hope you enjoyed it. And if you are checking this out on the podcast, consider subscribing. You can visit my website at fretprince.com. And you can also visit the YouTube channel, youtube.com/fretprince. All right, everybody. Have a really good practice session, and I'll see you all in the next one.